Greetings, Guzzlers. Welcome back to a lovely Saturday afternoon edition of Ben Buys Beverages. And today I have a special treat. I have a beer and a book, which I'll get to in a bit. But before I do, I've run out of alliteration. I ask that you please hit the like and subscribe buttons, as well as the notification bell. Now, today's beer. I mentioned it's a beautiful day, Saturday afternoon. And I gotta tell you, I got all my yard work done. It's hot out, but not so hot that I think I've died and ended up in hell. So I'm good, I'm clean, I'm not clean shaven, and I'm ready to relax a bit. So today I have a thematic beer that ties in with my book, which shouldn't surprise you. I have Rogue Colossal Claude. You'll note the artwork there is a sea serpent bursting forth from the waves to do sea serpenty things, probably involving sinking ships. Anyhow, this is an Imperial India Pale Ale, 8.2% alcohol by volume, and as you can see, it's a large can. It's a 1 pint, 3.2 fluid ounces. Oh, and it has fine text. Give me a moment. As I don my glasses. All right, and the fine text is a story. Across the top, it says, "Dare, risk, dream." It's been a few decades since a colossal Claude sighting has been reported, but we're fairly certain the massive sea monster has been lying low off the coast of his favorite brewery. Word has it that after years of terrifying sailors and feasting on salmon, he acquired a taste for hops. See, smart. So we brewed this Imperial IPA with a colossal dose of Cascade, Chinook, Citra, and Strata hops in hope of coaxing Claude out to join us for a pint. Ooh, and then it says to pair it with squeaky cheese, baked salmon, or saltwater taffy. I haven't had lunch or breakfast yet, so perhaps, well, I know we have some squeaky cheese, so perhaps that. But let's crack open the Colossal Claude, shall we? And then we'll pour it into an appropriate glass. And then you'll see why I took it. Can I get it going? Got it. Ooh. It's got a good strong hoppy smell. And for a giant can, I have a giant glass. And I have a towel below me to catch any spillage. Look, here we go. Pour the giant beer. I don't know any songs about sea serpents. I know a song about a mermaid. It's not appropriate. Well, it's mostly appropriate until you get to the chorus. And the last verse, maybe. Anyhow, but it's a fun song that I'm not going to sing, because I couldn't find a mermaid beer. Well, that's most of the can. I'll get the rest in a bit perhaps with lunch. So, still smells really hoppy in a good way. Well, that's good. It leaves a lingering aftertaste, a good one, on the lips. And it's refreshing. I mean, IPAs aren't normally my jam, but this one certainly is. So I will tell you that I got it at Cottage Hill Package Store out of their singles refrigerator. So if you just want one, head on down. And two, I'm going to give it 10 out of 10 bottle caps because it's that good. Anyhow, that's it for the beer portion of this. So if you don't like books or you don't like fantasy game books, you can tune out now, and I bid you adieu, farewell, cheers. Now the rest of you still here? All right, I backed a Kickstarter some time ago, one of Skirple's books, The Monster Overhaul. The PDF arrived a couple months back, but now I've got the book. And look at this weighty tome. Oh, it's so pretty. From Skirple's, with the blog, Coins and Scrolls. And his other book that I reviewed, Magical Industrial Revolution. Anyhow, I'm really excited about this because, as you might guess from the title and the cover, it's a practical bestiary. And for those unaware, bestiaries are just books of monsters, like the titular monster manual of Dungeons and Dragons fame. And this is very similar in that it's full of monsters that many people who have played a variety of fantasy games are kind of familiar with, at least with the names. But it's the organization and the content where it really comes clean. First off, most bestiaries are organized alphabetically. So you are jumping around the book, from, I don't know, Achacharai, those weird 8-legged birds from hell, to zombie, and then back to wyvern, and then all the way back to bugbear, and then you jump around, and it can be difficult. But this book doesn't do that. This book, in its, by the way, using up both interior covers, clocks in at 329 pages. Lovely, with a notes page in the back. Anyhow, this book is organized. Its chapters are broken down by what you may need, be it people, things you may find in a dungeon. Of course, dragons have their own. And we jump all the way down to chapter 18, The Stormy Seas, which is how this ties in with my beer. We turn to page 268, and look, it comes with a dandy built-in bookmark. We turn to 268, and we learn that it's got this awesome cover page, and each chapter has one of these cover arts that are almost ideal for colored pencils, except for the fact that it's a glossy paper. It's a high-quality glossy paper, so I don't know how well colored pencils will take to this. But anyhow, I turn to the chapter, and it opens up with random tables, random encounter tables pertaining to these critters. It also has them organized, just a short list, not alphabetically, but how powerful they are. Merfolk being the weakest, all the way up to the Kraken with a massive 25 hit dice. And, merfolk are at 1. And then it also ties in some extra stuff. And this is where the practical side of this practical bestiary comes into play. It's got a D10 table for different types of islands. It's got sea moods and gale moods and minor creatures that you may see. Nothing harmless, nothing to fight, nothing to get experience points from. But things you might see at the ocean. Such as a ruffled giant clam or steely imperious tuna. But the neat thing with all of the random encounters in this book, it's not just a list of critters. The lists are actually twofold. They're split. It's encounters, and right next to it are omens. So things you may encounter to give you a hint that, hey, something's about to happen. For example, you may witness plumes of silt and unusual hillocks and hear gurgling and munching, only to find that it's portly ground sloths paddling above a buried kraken. You may see darting scales and turbulent water and glimpse of teeth, only to find, as a hint, that that's a shoal of fanged piscine crocodiles orbit and nip around a giant crab. And everything has sounds and things to see and perhaps things to smell that give a hint to the players that, hey, something's about to happen. I wonder what it is. But anyhow, I'm drinking Colossal Claude Sea Serpent. So let me jump to that page and tell you how these critters are broken down. All right, sea serpents are found on page 275, right next to the remora. This is a terrible screening, but whatever. Anyhow, it's a rules-neutral book. You don't need to participate in any particular rule set. You can take what they give and convert it. And if you're a decent, even halfway decent game master, it shouldn't be difficult. Anyhow, sea serpents, number appearing, 1. Hit dice, 12. But it gives an average, which is 54 hit points. Then our appearance, a sinuous aquatic reptile, at least 50 feet long. And there's flashes of scales and teeth. Its voice is a hideous roaring and screeching and hissing. That would actually be kind of fun to portray at the table. what it wants. It wants to devour flesh. That tells the game master that every action this thing takes is to put food down its gullet. Its morality, it's allegedly malicious. Its intelligence, it's as smart as most people, but uninterested in communication or complex tactics. And this makes perfect sense because, as we recall from my reading the can earlier, they made this beer in the hopes that Claude would come forth and share it with them. And then armor type as chainmail. And then it, gives movement and morale and damage and tells us just in a little blurb. Sea serpents are infamously vicious predators, sinking ships and devouring sailors with ease. They seem to have a malign and devious intelligence, though their goals, if any, appear beyond human comprehension. Now, treasure is also listed. Treasure's important because really, that's why lots of folks play fantasy role-playing games, to kill monsters and take their stuff. And sea serpents are no exception. A sea serpent's guts contain lots of coins and barnacle-coated gems. So this is one of the critters that you kill, then you cut open, but you get loot before it sinks, before the blood in the water calls forth sharks, no doubt. And then it even provides a D6 table for sea serpent variants, such as the plesiosaur, the dragon turtle, oarfish, something called a perio, an amacook, and a lurefish. But anyhow, the point being that this awesome book, which, oh, by the way, is heavily cross-indexed. So if it references a different monster, it tells you the page number. It tells you where to go to the other tables. As an aside, I gotta tell you, well, one, I'm thirsty, hold on. In addition to the sights and sounds and the rules neutrality of it, there's lots of generic maps in this game. So if you look under the heading for wizards, there's a generic wizard's tower, because in a role-playing game, those go hand in hand. Just like minotaurs in labyrinths, there's a generic labyrinth in there. And other such things. You can find lots of generic maps, lots of lists either to roll on or pick and choose from. And in the human section, there's a list of names. And if you've ever played at the table, not the video games, if you've ever played a role-playing game, very often your players are like, ooh, what's that guy's name? The guy or gal in the background who's just there to make the scene seem realistic, not to actually be interacted with. Well, now, in a pinch, you've got a list of names. So, anyhow, I don't rate the books with bottle caps, but if I did, I would say this has at least 2D100 bottle caps. It's that good of a book. So if you like them, buy the PDF, or you can wait till Monster Overhaul is available commercially at Indie Press Revolution. And that, folks, is all I got. So, cheers!